On a frigid winter night, a starving mother wolf collapsed in front of a family's cabin, her breath shallow, her body weak. Just as the adults hesitated, their infant son crawled toward the dying creature, reaching out with an innocence that defied fear. What happened next would bring an entire village to tears, proving that even the smallest heart can hold the greatest compassion. A snow-covered forest stretches endlessly under a starless, overcast sky, where the chilling wind howls through the skeletal branches of ancient trees. The mother wolf, frail and covered in frost, limps through the deep snow, her ribs faintly visible beneath her thick but matted fur. Her golden eyes flicker with exhaustion as she staggers forward, each breath leaving a misty cloud in the air. Snowflakes settle on her muzzle, melting into droplets that glisten under the moonlight. In the distance, a rustic wooden cabin stands amid the frozen wilderness, its windows glowing with warm candlelight, promising safety and comfort. The roof is draped in a thick blanket of snow, and delicate icicles hang from the eaves, glistening like glass. Smoke curls from the chimney, drifting lazily into the night. The contrast between the warmth inside and the brutal cold outside is striking. The wolf pauses, her legs trembling, and lets out a weak whimper before collapsing onto the snow-covered doorstep. Her body shudders, desperate for warmth and relief. As the wind blows harder, her paw twitches, as if in a final plea for help. Inside the cabin, the soft glow of a flickering fire illuminates the rustic wooden walls, casting shadows that dance across the room. The baby, round-faced with rosy cheeks and golden curls, sits on a woven rug near the fireplace, dressed in a fluffy onesie. His tiny fingers clutch a wooden toy, but his attention drifts toward the frosted window, where something outside catches his innocent gaze. Outside, barely visible through the frost-covered glass, the mother wolf lies motionless in the snow. The baby's curious blue eyes widen as he drops his toy and reaches toward the window with a tiny, outstretched hand. His breath fogs the glass as he leans forward, fascinated and unafraid. The cabin's interior is cozy and warm, with a rocking chair near the fire, a woolen blanket draped over it, and a table with a flickering candle in the corner. Shadows flicker gently across the wooden walls, creating a sense of safety and warmth that starkly contrasts with the freezing wilderness outside. The father, a broad-shouldered man with a thick beard and weathered face, stands by the door, his eyes narrowed in caution as he grips a lantern that casts a warm, golden glow. The mother, a kind-faced woman with auburn hair tucked under a woolen cap, clutches a thick shawl around her shoulders as she peers past her husband. The wooden door creaks open, letting in a gust of icy wind that makes the candle inside flicker. The baby, now in his father's arms, reaches toward the fallen wolf with wide, innocent eyes. The mother wolf is barely breathing, her chest rising and falling with shallow gasps. Snow clings to her fur, and her paws are raw and frozen. Her ears flicker weakly as she senses the presence of humans. The family stares in stunned silence, torn between fear and compassion. The moment lingers, heavy with uncertainty. Inside the cabin, the mother wolf is wrapped in a thick woolen blanket, lying close to the crackling fire. The baby, now seated beside her, gently pats her damp, ice-covered fur, his small fingers brushing against the softness beneath the frost. His mother kneels nearby, watching with quiet amazement. The father, still hesitant, holds out a wooden bowl filled with warm broth. Steam rises from it as the wolf sniffs weakly before lapping at it, her tongue trembling. The moment is delicate, every movement careful. The soft, orange glow from the fire highlights the baby's round cheeks as he lets out a tiny giggle. The tension in the room slowly fades as the mother wolf begins to show signs of trust, her tail flicking ever so slightly. Outside, the wind howls, rattling the window panes as if the night is urging them to hurry before it's too late. But inside, warmth and compassion prevail. The mother wolf, still weak but recovering, rests near the fire, her eyes half-lidded but more alert. The baby sits next to her, giggling softly, his tiny hands gripping the edge of her blanket. The father, his bearded face softened, watches from his chair, arms crossed but no longer tense. The mother, seated beside him, smiles as she knits by the fire, stealing glances at the unlikely pair. The wolf's ears twitch as she listens to the storm outside. She lifts her head slightly, glancing at the baby, who offers her a small piece of bread with his chubby hand. She hesitates, then gently takes it. The baby claps in delight. The fire crackles, casting a golden hue over the moment, a silent promise of trust between the wild and the innocent. The night deepens, and inside the warm cabin, the fire flickers softly, its golden glow casting gentle light over the wooden walls and woven rugs. The baby, tucked into a wooden crib lined with soft woolen blankets, breathes peacefully, but his tiny fingers twitch, as if sensing something beyond his dreams. Across the room, the mother wolf stirs in her sleep, her ears flicking toward the window. She lets out a faint, muffled whimper, so quiet that only the night itself seems to hear. Outside, in the frozen darkness, a shadow shifts among the trees. The camera zooms out to reveal the vast, snow-covered forest, where a pair of tiny glowing eyes peek from behind an icy bush. Another small shape trembles beside it. Wolf pups, lost and alone, waiting in the cold. Their soft cries are barely audible over the wind. Inside, the baby's eyelids flutter as if he can hear them. His tiny hand reaches out toward the wolf, even in sleep. The wolf slowly opens her eyes, her breath shaky but determined. She knows what she must do. A sudden, mournful howl pierces the cold night. The father, still awake in his chair, bolts upright, grabbing the lantern beside him. The mother stirs, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders. The baby, now fully awake, grips the edge of his crib, eyes wide with excitement rather than fear. He points toward the door, his tiny voice babbling as if urging them to listen. Outside, through the frosted window, the mother wolf stands weakly near the cabin door. Her tail is stiff, her ears alert. She lets out another faint, broken howl. The camera shifts to the dark tree line, where the two tiny figures barely move in the snow. The father hesitates, gripping his coat tightly. "There's something out there," he mutters. The mother glances at the wolf, at the baby, then at her husband. A decision must be made. The moment hangs in the air, tense, uncertain, before the father finally steps toward the door, his heavy boots creaking on the wooden floor. The door creaks open, letting in an icy gust of wind. The lantern's flame flickers violently, casting eerie shadows on the snow. The father lifts the lantern high, illuminating the area. At first, nothing is visible but the endless stretch of white shimmering beneath the moonlight. Then, a faint movement. Two tiny, trembling wolf pups huddled together in the snow. Their fur is coated in frost, their little breaths rapid and weak. The mother wolf whines softly, stepping forward with unsteady legs. But before the father can react, the baby wriggles out of his mother's arms. He crawls across the wooden floor toward the threshold, reaching a small hand into the night. The wolf pups, barely clinging to life, stare at the tiny outstretched fingers. Slowly, one of them takes a hesitant step forward. The mother wolf turns her head toward the baby, then back at her pups. She lets out a soft, encouraging whimper. The second pup follows. Step by step, they cross the freezing snow toward the cabin's warm glow. The father exhales, lowering the lantern slightly, as if realizing the choice has already been made. The door creaks open, letting in an icy gust of wind. The lantern's flame flickers violently, casting eerie shadows on the snow. The father lifts the lantern high, illuminating the area. At first, nothing is visible but the endless stretch of white shimmering beneath the moonlight. Then, a faint movement. Two tiny, trembling wolf pups huddled together in the snow. Their fur is coated in frost, their little breaths rapid and weak. The mother wolf whines softly, stepping forward with unsteady legs. But before the father can react, the baby wriggles out of his mother's arms. He crawls across the wooden floor toward the threshold, reaching a small hand into the night. The wolf pups, barely clinging to life, stare at the tiny outstretched fingers. Slowly, one of them takes a hesitant step forward. The mother wolf turns her head toward the baby, then back at her pups. She lets out a soft, encouraging whimper. The second pup follows. Step by step, they cross the freezing snow toward the cabin's warm glow. The father exhales, lowering the lantern slightly, as if realizing the choice has already been made. The storm has finally cleared, leaving behind a landscape of pure, untouched snow. The morning sun glows gold on the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest. The mother wolf stands at the cabin's threshold, her pups at her side. Their fur now clean, their eyes bright. She turns back toward the family one last time. The baby, bundled in warm clothes, stands with help from his father's sturdy hands. He reaches out once more, waving his tiny fingers toward the departing wolves. The mother wolf steps forward and, with the utmost gentleness, licks the baby's cheek. The father and mother exchange knowing smiles. This isn't just a farewell. It's a moment of understanding, a quiet promise between the wild and the human world. The wolf and her pups trot toward the vast snowy forest. Their paw prints the only sign they were ever there. Slowly, the wind begins to erase their tracks, but their story will remain in the hearts of the family forever. The baby giggles as he watches them go, his bright eyes reflecting the golden sunrise. The camera slowly pans upward, capturing the breathtaking scenery. A peaceful cabin surrounded by towering trees, the endless white expanse of the forest, and the wolves disappearing into their rightful home. A final fade to black, leaving behind the warmth of a single ember flickering in the fireplace.